So welcome to another episode of Left versus Right. Anthony Weiner on your left, Dominic Carter on your right. Dominic, you got to admit, you got to be relieved we don't have to do the trial anymore. At least we don't have to do it until it's on the Court of Appeals or whatever it is. We can let the other issues breathe a little bit. That's what we'll do today. You feel good about that, to get the trial in our rearview mirror?
Is that a setup?
No, it's actually literally what I was thinking. I'm glad we don't have to do the trial. We've done it so many weeks in a row.
I'm not.
Because do more trial?
No. It was an injustice, and the appellate court will hopefully correct this. And come July 11th, God only knows what the sixth man off the bench, Judge Merchant, will do. I would probably speculate that he's going to sentence Mr. Trump to some form of jail, and immediate appellate decision will override that.
Will he say? Will Trump say he's sorry in front of the judge?
That's ridiculous. And are you serious? Sorry for what?
I don't even want to talk about the trial anymore, so it's your call.
Let's not. Sorry for what?
Sorry for the crimes he's found guilty of committing.
Hey, I want to go back to something else,
easy
Mr.
with
Weiner.
with that thing there. Go ahead. Yes, what's up?
I want to go back to something else. So, on air, a few of our callers, they take great exception to me referring to you as Mr. Weiner.
I find it a little disorienting. I think it's just you can say Weiner.
I think
you just want to say Weiner over and over again just to see how many times you can get it past the censors. No, I don't have any. I refuse to use Dominic because I always view you as your friend.
Right, and you're a friend as well.
And if you say,
wait, let's set the record straight. How many years have we known each other?
It's a good question. I think we got to know each other in the early 2000s. Like you were, maybe even before that. So right. Yeah, it's been a while. It's been over 25 years.
Okay, all right.
And you're aging gracefully, my brother.
And so are you, my brother.
Thank you.
So, but wait. So I refer to you at times as Mr. Weiner.
That's all you do. You never call me Anthony.
Because it's a matter of respect. It's a matter of courtesy.
And I take it that way.
And you know, but don't.
I don't call you Dominic to be disrespectful.
But as the kids say, don't get it twisted, because you're wrong on the issues, and I call you out on the issues.
I feel you.
Case in point, what you started with today. I don't know why you're going back to that kangaroo court trial. You're just trying to piss me off on this lovely Saturday.
Actually,
that's what you're trying to do.
Here's the surprising,
Mr. Weiner.
Here's the surprising revelation. Sometimes a cigar is just a cigar. I just said, literally, I'm glad we're done with the thing, and you went off as if you've had too many cups of tea. I really am relieved we don't have to do the trial for a while. And so let's do one of the issues that came up early this week.
Sweet
You want to do Fani? It's number 5, but let's do it now.
Right. I'm sure it's number 5 on your list. I'm sure it is. Fani! Hey, Fani!
You want to catch our listeners up?
We your lover, Fani!
Catch our listeners up.
Taxpayer dollars, Fani, Madam District Attorney. Oh, Trump is going on my mantle. I am going to nail Trump to the wall.
This is incoherent. Let me do some words.
Right. And look what happened. Look at what's happening.
I want to explain what happened.
Go ahead, explain.
Okay. So we've now known about this case for a while. Dominic loves this, probably his favorite subject of all time.
Yes.
But recently, the trial court said, we're not going to move. Let me just set up the freaking issue.
What happened in that case? I'm just curious.
I'm setting it up right now.
I just want to know the facts.
I'm doing the facts.
Okay,
the trial court said, we're not going to have any further trial proceedings on this issue of whether Trump is guilty of these things because there have questions been raised about whether the prosecutor has a conflict of interest. The trial court, ruled he didn't. It went on to appeal, but the important thing that happened...
That she didn't have a conflict of interest.
Right, that she didn't, Fani Willis didn't. And he did say there was an appearance, but not a real one, etc. Anyway, the more important thing is, now the Court of Appeals in Georgia, all Republicans, has said we're not going to have any proceedings on the case in the lower court until we have a chance to hear it. That's not going to be until next year. So the Georgia...
Right.
You don't realize you're heckling your own good news. So just wait for a second.
No. I just love the way that you give quote-unquote good news. You say, I want our audience.
Well, I got it right, though.
And to the folks watching on YouTube, I just want to give you the facts, the interpretation of what Mr. Weiner...
Which one are you going to do, facts or interpretation?
No, both. Mr. Weiner just said, and he just glossed over this.
I just gave a setup. You know how these debate shows work. You got to set it up first.
Just said, the district attorney has a conflict of interest, and he kept going.
No, that's not what I said.
What's the conflict of interest?
No, that's not what I said.
Okay, well, what's the conflict of interest?
The appearance, you mean?
The appearance. What's the appearance?
She was stooping a member of her staff.
Oh, no, it goes way beyond that.
It goes way beyond that. I don't want to get too graphic. We're an AM radio station.
She took her boo, Nathan Wade, and said, Honey, you don't have to have qualifications.
I don't know about that. What are you talking about?
I'm talking about Fani Willis.
No, there was no ruling that he was unqualified. He's a lawyer. You're going to get a lawyer.
Can I finish? Can I finish? Can I finish?
You can.
She said, "You my boo." you don't have to have.
I don't recall any evidence in the record. She said, "You my boo."
Can I finish?
You can't. Don't.
Can I finish? Can I just finish?
You're gilding the lily.
Can I finish?
Yeah, go ahead. My boo.
She said, just bear with me.
I need a bell every time you say boo.
She said, "You're my boo."
By the way, the kids don't say that anymore.
But you won't let me finish. She said, "You don't have to be qualified. You don't have to have any experience."
Can I ask you, did Donald Trump do the crimes? Did Donald Trump do the crimes?
No.
I think he did. Let's have a jury.
Okay.
Let's have a trial.
Okay, but we can come back to that.
Who cares who's prosecuting him if he didn't do it?
Can I finish on Fani?
You don't like Marshawn. You don't like Fani. You don't like Smith. You don't like anyone who prosecutes your guy because the guy doesn't like standing account. But he is going to stand account on July 11th when the judge says, "Hey, convicted felon." By the way, how's convicted felon Donald Trump doing today?
Okay, we'll come back to that.
Is the convicted felon Donald? I saw convicted felon. Donald Trump gave a speech in Arizona this week. Did convicted felon get a good response?
Okay.
Convicted felon Donald Trump. I don't think he's going to be he's not going to be convicted by a Georgia trial, but he is convicted in New York.
Okay, can I finish?
You know, he can't. Convicted felon Donald Trump can't travel to Europe. He can't. Convicted felon Donald Trump can't have a gun. Convicted felon. By the way, when we have him on as a guest, and you're his buddy, I'm sure he's going to call in now that you're doing all of this programming. ABC always broadcasting Carter around here. When he calls in and does his first interview, and he says, "Are you going to refer to him by his convicted felon number that he's going to wear on his little jumpsuit?"
When he comes on, I will address him the way that he should be addressed.
Like this? Yes.
No. I will address him the way that he should be addressed. Mr. President, the election is only a few months away, but you might as well be sworn in today because you are, again, the next president of the United States. So now, can I go back to Fani? See, you don't want to
go ahead. I just couldn't sit here and see you say boo, boo, boo all the time.
You know what? It's Saturday.
No, but Fani, but there's nothing more.
Wait.
We did Fani Willis.
No, I'm going to do it. You know.
Ask me what I think of Fani Willis. Aren't you curious?
I'll let you. 1 second.
Aren't you curious?
I just want to say one thing.
I bet it rhymes with chew.
I just want to say one thing about Fani Willis, the district attorney, right?
Yeah.
And
an upstanding African American woman, by the way.
It's that rap song. You got what I need, but they say he's just a friend. They say he's just a friend. Oh, Nathan Wade, her boo, her lover, under the covers. What's that song? Secret lovers. Yeah, that's what we are. I forgot the rest of it.
I have never not wanted to interrupt you more.
People know the song.
Don't look around for help. Don't look. You're doing a monologue, my man. You're doing a solo.
Okay, but you didn't finish the story about Fani Willis. You said conflict of interest.
Oh no, I want to see what kind of
the conflict of interest, and she denied this. Yeah. Was that according to the lawyer that asked the questions of her, she met Mr. Wade and had sexual relations with him.
And what is the relevance?
The very first night. Oh, we don't want to deal with relevance, because then she goes, Trump, I'm going to get me some Trump. I'm going to prosecute Trump.
Dominic.
And she takes her lover and she goes on vacation.
Dominic, can you pause for a second and I can ask you a question?
Okay, go ahead.
What's the difference if two people on the prosecution team are having lunch, kissing, having sex, or whatever else? What difference does it make? Explain to our listeners why it matters.
Okay, I've been trying for the last 3
minutes.
You have now.
For the God's sakes, you're doing 1990s rap songs.
Right. You got what I need. They say he's just a friend. You won't let me finish. How do you take somebody that's not qualified? That, oh, by the way.
What do you say he's not qualified? What are the qualifications?
You keep telling me to give you the relevance, and you won't let me give you the relevance.
You're stating facts, not in evidence, Your Honor.
If you can give me 30 seconds, Anthony.
Sure, or just as long as you're not going to use it to sing a song.
I'm not going to sing a song.
All right, go.
I know I can't sing. I'm not going to sing a song.
You're actually not bad. I gotta tell you. It wasn't so much the performance, wasn't the inappropriateness of the performance. That's all. Okay. No one on a Saturday afternoon, they're going to get Vinny Meduno in a few minutes. Right. Let them do the music.
That's
we
true.
Should do the issues.
That's true, cousin Brucey. You're right. But listen. So you said what does it have to do with anything?
Seriously. I don't really get it.
All right. So let me finish. Just give me 30 seconds.
All right. Go ahead.
Uninterrupted 30 seconds. She's apparently sleeping with the man on the down low. She takes him. He's never tried a case like this before. She takes her boo and makes him the lead prosecutor against Trump. And then they travel the country and the world, and he pays for everything. And she says that she reimbursed him, but she paid cash in terms of the reimbursement. In other words, they traveled the country on the taxpayer dime while they were lining up to get Trump, and now who's the one being targeted? Madam District Attorney, not Trump. The people rest.
Clearly not worth the wait. Let me remind our listeners what this case is about.
Okay.
Donald Trump was part of a conspiracy of a bunch of people that after the votes were cast, after they were recounted and recounted twice, and then an audit was done by the Republican Secretary of State, a big supporter of Donald Trump, and it was ready to have the Electoral College votes were sent to Washington. They conspired to undermine the votes of the people of Georgia and send a fake set of electors. That's a crime. You want to focus on what the prosecutors were doing. I don't care, and I think I don't care, and most of our listeners.
Of course you don't care. You're a Democrat.
I guess we're not
and
doing.
You phony Democrats
we're not
have
doing
been
the.
exposed.
We're not doing the uninterrupted thing, are we?
Okay. Go ahead. I
guess where they were traveling, who they were talking to, how much booze they were saying, what music they were playing, is more important than getting to the bottom of an attempt to undermine the votes, not only of Georgia, because think about it, because it would have been the votes of New York too, and the votes of Ohio, everyone else, because it would have changed the results of the election. That is a serious problem. And I noticed that Donald Trump's defenders always talk about everything except, is it okay to sleep with porn stars and pay them off? Is it okay to undermine the votes of the people of Georgia? Is it okay to have secret documents and refuse to give them back? You never talk about the
fact. Can I ask you a question?
Oh, look over there.
Okay.
It's someone named Fanny. Over there, it's someone named Boo.
Right.
Over there, it's someone named Marshawn.
No,
and
Boo.
And you know what?
His name is Nathan Wade.
And the voters of this country are sick of it. They are sick of the distraction. The Dominic Carter distraction train ends here because you're up against facts, my man.
I'm up against facts.
There you go.
Excuse me, Anthony. Notice I'm not saying Weiner, right? Trying to please our listeners. I just find it remarkable that you are determined. Stormy Daniels, right? Porn star.
Yuck.
Trump says he didn't sleep with her. So I'm.
You believe that?
Wait.
Come on.
Wait. Do you have any evidence? Were you in the bedroom when they were allegedly?
We just had a trial with a heck of a lot of evidence, and 12 of our neighbors, in about that much time said, "Yep, he done did it."
No, that's not what they said.
Let's talk about it.
The jury.
Let's talk about it.
The jury voted.
What do you think? Let me ask you something.
Can I finish?
What do you think?
Okay.
Put aside the jury. Okay. What do you think? Do you think that your hair leader, your cult leader, do you think that he slept with the porn star and then paid her off? What do you think?
I don't care if he slept with her.
I know you don't care, but humor me. Do you think he did it?
I don't know. I wasn't in the bed with the
Dominic. I'm not saying you know. I'm saying, what do you think? You're a man who's been around a little bit. Okay. You've covered a few stories in your day. Okay. You've seen some information out there. What do you think?
What I honestly think
is
that Trump says no, and I believe him.
Okay, fair enough.
I believe.
And while we're
what do you think? And while we're at it, while you're
same with Georgia. Do you think he tried to undermine?
Wait. While you're at it, trying to put me in that corner.
That's okay.
I don't think
we're having a conversation. A couple of guys having a conversation.
I don't believe E. Jean Carroll. Miss Wee.
Okay.
Trump followed behind me in the dressing room, and then sexually these things. The
woman lied.
Well, Miss Carroll.
The woman lied.
Miss Carroll, you're in a department store.
How should we figure out?
Miss Carroll, you didn't.
Dominic, how should we
scream? You're in a dressing room.
Here's
and I'm supposed to believe with a straight face that Trump inappropriately touched you or did whatever. Did it ever occur to you that if something happened that she wanted it to happen? Is that possible, Mr. Weiner? And then all these years later, revisionist history.
I generally don't believe when women are accused of sexual violence that they wanted it. No, I don't generally believe that.
No. Don't put me in that corner.
I'm just saying I don't think either one of us should be arguing that the person that the woman didn't.
Okay, but
Stormy Daniels is not saying she was raped, not saying she was sexually abused, saying they went there willingly, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Right. I think it's a very different case. I think but in both cases, we have fact finders that go out and find facts, and in both cases.
No, the jury found that the payoff was made. That is not confirming. Look at that smirk. That's not confirming. confirming
saying most
a
people,
sexual relationship.
I'm just saying most people, and we have a very right-leaning audience, and I love every one of them.
Right versus left has nothing to do with this.
Let me finish my thought.
Let me finish my thought. The credibility of the people.
Let me finish my thought.
You have a porn star that's paid to have sex that says she had sex with Trump.
And Donald Trump, who's facing 89 indictments, who's been found guilty of fraud in New York courts, who has a fake university, who declared bankruptcy 6 times, and who lies every time he moves his lips.
Okay,
that guy.
So he has 89 indictments, right?
They're down now.
89, right. So how many did you take away from Georgia, right? And
those indictments did not go away, my brother.
They did not
go away. He can run, but he can't hide. In Joe Biden's second term, that guy's going to face that case.
Okay, but let's
as you should want. Don't you want him to show us his innocence? Clear his name. Clear Donald Trump's name. Put him on trial.
I agree. Let's go back to Georgia. Let's go back to Georgia, right? So what about the fact?
Can I do my impression of Dominic Carter doing Fani?
Let's see it.
Okay, this is Dominic Carter. Mr. Weiner, my boo, my boo, he's saying my boo. That's Dominic doing Fani Willis doing boo.
Do it right. If you're gonna do it right.
Okay.
No, I have to have the rebuttal now.
I didn't do anything to rebut. I'm just making. By the way, ask me how I feel about Fani Willis before we go to the break.
Creeping in the middle of the night,
right.
Madam District
Why
Attorney.
Do you want?
Oops, Madam DA.
Can I ask you?
You and your lover forgot to turn off your cell phones.
If you found
pinged, and when the cell phones pinged, and you lied and said when you lied and said you were not together,
I think
it was proven a lie. Secret lovers in the middle of the night, and they got caught.
Fani Willis.
Trump wins 0.
You're allowed to have sex in Georgia.
Oh, and then put your lover on the payroll as a chief prosecutor.
I wouldn't do it. You can do
deny it. And go before a black church, and you're a nun. She goes before a black church. I didn't do anything. It's racism that they are focusing on my private life.
I want to say this. She had to be pure as the driven snow, right? Marshawn gave $15 and he got in trouble for it. You got to be pure as snow if you're going to do these prosecutions. Right. And she wasn't. I am furious at her for putting everyone in this position. No doubt about it.
Amen.
I've been waiting for the longest time.
To a break,
I've been waiting for the longest time to make that point.
I just want to make sure I got this right.
Yes, sir.
You are criticizing, because I think I'm about to have a heart attack.
Fani.
You are criticizing the district attorney of Georgia.
Fani, of course. She'd not be doing this stuff. You should be pure.
What are you criticizing her for, just so we're on the record here?
Well, let's make it easier.
Okay.
I'm not criticizing you for trying to prosecute the president for trying to undermine the people of Georgia. I'm not criticizing her for prosecuting Donald Trump and 19 of co-conspirators for knowing they lost Georgia and trying to change the results. And we'll be right back on Left versus Right. So welcome back to Left versus Right. Anthony Weiner on your left, Dominic Carter on your right. Dominic Carter is now all over your dial during the week. I encourage you to listen to his programs at 3 o'clock during the week, then at midnight to start out your day. And also you have a show on Sunday night.
Sunday night, yes.
Sunday night. ABC always broadcasting Carter. My show you just heard, I focused a lot on the Hunter Biden case. We're going to talk about that in a minute.
And you had a great show today.
I appreciate it. But let's talk a little bit about Biden doing a Trump imitation as it relates to immigration. So here's the way.
The show is over.
I'm going to set it up.
The show is over.
I'm going to set it up.
You're finally starting to get it.
Dominic.
You're fine. I cannot believe this.
You did not read the memo from Chad saying we've got to do the setup of issues so we know what everyone's talking about.
Okay.
So immigration.
But I don't listen to me. I cannot believe that you're fine. Can you just, I'm going to let you finish your setup. Can you say that one more?
I'm going to do it in the setup.
There's a disco ball up there. I feel like we're in a
disco.
So
the immigration laws haven't been updated in a while. They tried to negotiate a change in Congress. Many Republicans said, wait a minute, just do it by executive action, Joe Biden. Just hold on, let me finish. Okay. Joe Biden said, I don't have the right to do it. But they said, but Donald Trump did it. Many of us pointed out, but wait a minute, Donald Trump had overturned by the courts. Now Joe Biden says, all right, you want me to try to do it by executive action. Now he's put a bunch of executive actions to basically close the border, change the asylum laws, change a lot of those by executive order. Immediately, he was sued for that. I believe the same exact thing is going to happen in the courts, but Republicans have said, just do something. Joe Biden, now he's doing it. You must be happy. Feel free to say nice things about Joe Biden on immigration. Dominic Carter.
I agree with your setup. And I
see, this is why you should wait for them whenever I said to do them.
And I think that, maybe, let me put it this way. Maybe we should have an election for president every year. Because if we had an election for president every year, candidates and Democrats open up cans of act right in an election year. It's amazing. It's amazing. The president of the United States, he's all of our president. He had a bad trip, at least initially trip, the 80th.
Oh, I thought it was an amazing commemoration. I thought it was amazing. I had that down as the last thing because I thought we'd end on a positive note, but you want to do it again?
The president walking around and Macron trying to guide him and the first lady telling him not to sit down.
Right.
And he sits down. Is that the part you're talking about?
I was referring to the whole ceremony. I thought was amazing. At the same time, we were there commemorating the heroes of D-Day 80 years ago. Donald Trump was in Arizona saying that America is a hellhole, which is just great.
Okay.
Amazing.
Well,
just a great juxtaposition.
Well,
instead of being there and commemorating, thank God that Donald Trump was not there because, as you know, Donald Trump considers those who were lost in war suckers, and those he called John McCain a sucker for being taken prisoner during in the Vietnam War. So I am just proud as all heck that we had that President Biden at that moment when we needed him. But if you want to talk about that, I thought immigration would be eager to talk about. I'm surprised to hear you change the subject so quickly.
If the sucker comment is language that I wouldn't use, but if
condemn it.
I'm not going to condemn it. But if we're talking about the relationship between Trump and McCain, it was a bad one. Senator McCain served his country honorably.
He's a war hero.
War hero. It is what it is. But I will point out that Trump did permit the full military service, the full honors. Don't look at me like that. He was the president of the United States. He could have blocked it.
Well, he's not going to block
He let it go forward, didn't he?
He doesn't get any credit for not being a complete jackass. No, the guy dishonors people who serve our country. The same way he dishonored them by paying Daddy to get him out of the draft back in the day. He's a dishonorable guy when it comes to the military.
Here we go.
He calls insult Gold Star families. He's a dishonorable man, Donald Trump. He might be your candidate, but we can agree that he's dishonorable when it comes to military families.
Can we go back to what you started with? See, I noticed you don't want to talk about that. You don't want to talk about the fact that all of a sudden...
You changed it to D-Day. I have D-Day down here. It was going to be a nice thing. We all hug at the end of the show, but all right.
What did the movie line say? You can't handle the truth, Anthony Weiner, right? So all of a sudden, Biden does a Trump. On
immigration.
Biden does a Trump.
He's also going to struck down.
Right. Okay.
He tried to pass laws to do it. Donald Trump,
Okay. So that's why I'm saying maybe we should have an election every year. And under your guys'
So he's doing the right thing, you think?
Under your guys' policy, still 1.7 million people will still come across the border every year.
I think it's the Republicans that said they didn't want to do a bill to fix it, not the Democrats.
Okay, well,
even the Republicans said that they were told by Donald Trump not to do a law. So if you blame it on the election year, you got one guy that pushed it into the election year, and that's Donald Trump because he wanted the issue. He wins. Congratulations, you got the issue. Now Joe Biden is doing what you wanted, right? So you're going to vote for him now? So you like what Joe Biden did. So you're giving him an A. What grade are you giving him, Dominic?
An F. An F? On immigration.
He's doing what you said you wanted.
Why did it take this long?
He took this long because he was trying to pass the laws.
Oh, it's called an election year.
He's trying to pass the law.
It's called an election year.
What was the day he introduced his bill?
Here we go. It's called, he's the president.
January 21st, 2021.
But yet he's still doing it now by executive order. He could have did this on day one by executive order.
He can't. The court's going to strike it down. He wanted to change the laws. Everyone knows you need to change the laws. Republicans, too. They said we need to change the laws.
Everybody knows.
And you know who campaigned saying you need to change the law? Donald Trump. You know who gave a speech in 2019 saying we need to change the law? Donald Trump.
So if everybody knows...
I don't know how you spell phony, but you can't spell it with enough PH's and O's. Donald Trump is a phony on this, but you're not, Dominic. You know that Joe Biden's trying to do the right thing.
So you were making fun of Trump's Thursday night rally in Arizona. A lot of people out there in the hot sun.
I'm making fun of it. A lot of people felt.
Let me just finish.
I heard my name invoked. I thought you wanted me to respond.
I just there's a coincidence that I want you to respond to.
I will gladly.
Trump holds a rally. Thousands turn out, including in the South Bronx. You called his supporters bubbas. The president of the United States rarely has a rally, and when he does, they have to change the room so that it's a smaller...
The room was the shores of Normandy. The room that night was the shores of Normandy. Dominic, check yourself.
Okay. Check yourself before you wreck yourself.
I'm not going to do that.
Okay,
a white Jewish guy can't pull that off.
But a black guy can. But Mr. Mr. Weiner, let's put Normandy aside. I'm talking about.
I'd rather not. Thank you.
I know you don't.
I mean, the 80th anniversary of the singular moment at the time when
what happened at the Biden rally in Philadelphia.
When Joe Biden is standing,
it was a big thing, and they only used a quarter of the room. Why they only use?
This ain't a rally.
Why do they only?
It is a commemoration. By the way, you know who was standing up
on what I'm talking about?
Yeah, Normandy.
Okay, please, no, that's not what we're talking about. You don't want to deal with the fact that you know that nobody basically shows up for Biden rallies, and when you
Biden doesn't have rallies, he's the president. You know why he's the president? He beat your guy like a rented mule. You know why he beat your guy like a rented mule? Because the guy couldn't figure out COVID. He drove the economy into the ground because he said drink bleach. That's why your guy got beaten. You know why else he got beaten? Because he's indicted 86 times and now he's a convicted felon. That's why. You want to talk about rallies? You want to talk about a bunch of guys named Bubba in their cowboy hats coming to a rally? I could care less.
The basement of Delaware. We're going to run a presidential campaign.
8 months of a campaign. Trump had 8 more appearances. Okay, congratulations.
Okay. This time the president cannot run a campaign from his basement.
He's doing it on the shores of Normandy, making our country proud.
Can you focus? Do me a favor.
Honest,
the Philadelphia speech.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
The
president of the United States doesn't give rallies. That's not the way this works.
Oh, that's not the way it works. So Bill Clinton didn't give excellent rallies. Obama as the president. Obama didn't give excellent rallies.
On the campaign trail, maybe they did.
As presidents of the United States.
They didn't do rallies.
And as a matter of fact, while we're on that point,
yes. What point? I forgot what point we're on.
The president of the United States holds a rally.
Joe Biden. Not convicted felon Donald Trump, Joe Biden.
Radio City Music Hall.
It's called a fundraiser.
And who's there with him? Obama and Clinton.
Yes.
Why is that?
Because they're successful presidents, something the Republicans haven't had in years.
Nope. It's because they were needed to shore him.
When was the last successful Republican presidency? How far back do you have to go? You're going to go back a long-ass way.
No. You can make the case.
A long-ass way.
No. You can make the case of the Bushes. Don't look at me like that.
George W. Bush? He left with an 8% favorability rate. He got us mired in Iraq on fake information. Cut it out.
If I were you...
HW was okay, I guess, but it's the economy, stupid. He got thrown out of vote. The Republicans can't run the country.
If I were you...
I asked
and what do we have now?
Look how far back you had to go.
And what do we have now?
By the way, notice my listeners, he skipped over Trump. He's learned.
Trump was one of the greatest presidents America has ever had.
Too late to save it, Dominic Carter.
Trump was one of the great... No.
He lost more jobs than any American president in history.
What this is called...
By the way, do you see the job numbers that came out on Friday? Whew, this Biden economy is sizzling. 244,000 jobs. Unbelievable. I'll give you a moment, man. And by the way, apparently you got 3 of them. I listen to you on the air all the time around here.
Do you really want a response to that?
You're doing well in the Biden economy, I want to say. Go ahead.
Do you want a response to that?
Well, it's a little hard for you representing Donald Trump because he was the only president since Hoover to lose jobs in his administration. By the way, you seen the stock market recently? Holy mackerel.
Can I respond?
You can say words. I don't know if it'll be very responsive.
Okay. Trump, 3%. Biden, 7%. Bears repeating.
Of what?
Trump, 3%.
Of what? What number you're...
Biden, 7%.
What are you doing?
Fixed mortgage rates to buy a home for Americans. Explain that, Anthony Weiner.
It's up rents are too damn high, no doubt about it.
Jimmy McMillan.
But at least people, no one's going to know that reference. That's a good pull. That is a good. This is why you get paid the big bucks, Jimmy McMillan. Exactly.
This is the second time that you're saying I get paid the big bucks.
I'm just making fun of like you wearing a fancy suit. And I can't even sport a tie.
But if you want to make fun, he's our president, and I want Mr. Biden to succeed. But
he is. So you're happy about the job numbers? Are you happy about the job numbers?
I'm in a song mood today, I guess, because it's Saturday, nice outside. I'm feeling good, right?
I can't wait for Medunia to run into the studio.
No.
Stay in my lane, pal.
Wait, will you sing this song with me? I'm in the mood to sing, right?
But go ahead.
This is as it relates to President Biden. Yes, it's over. call it a day. Sorry that it had to end this way. No reason to pretend we knew it had to end someday. Johnny Mathis. And it applies. Don't look at me like that.
No, I'm loving it. I'm loving every minute of this. You notice the only time I don't interrupt you on this freaking show is when you're singing, because there's enough good things can't happen in the world that I would want to interrupt you while you're singing. That's a lot of joy you bring into the world. Look, here's what I would say
so who's
about...
going to win the election?
I was going to mention that you like polls. I'm not a big poll guy, but the polls, he's gotten a little bump out of Biden since the... Oh, let me finish my sentence.
Go ahead.
Since the trial has resolved, Biden has gotten a bump.
You're joking. What happened? Swing state of Georgia. Swing state of Georgia that Biden won. Who's ahead in Georgia?
You're joking, swing
right?
state. No, I said he's gotten a bump.
You're not say.
I'm not joking. You can just open the newspaper. He's gotten a bump.
Can I do my?
He's got a bump because convicted felon Donald Trump is not a good thing to vote for.
Can I do?
Hello, Ms. Capalucci. Are you going to vote for convicted felon Donald Trump? Click. No, people don't like to say that.
Can I do my Anthony Weiner now? My interpretation of Anthony Weiner.
Go ahead.
Okay, so here's Anthony Weiner.
I don't do a head bob thing. What is that? I'm glad it's on YouTube now. Don't do that.
Here's Anthony Weiner. You can say my name all you want. It doesn't change the facts.
I said that once. Because you were doing... I can't remember what that was. By the way, I have no responsibility when the AV team, when the social team pulls out those cuts. I have no accountability for what they do. I don't.
Right. Neither one of us.
So when I look good, it's just because I'm saying compelling things. It has nothing to do with any bias around here.
That's good.
All right. Anyway,
I guess I would say the same thing.
I'm not a big poll guy. Look, I believe. Here's what I would say about the polls, and in all seriousness. The people that listen to our show are not moving back and forth. They're Biden people or they're Trump people, and they're mostly Trump people.
That's what
the people that move back and forth in these polls are people who are low education voters, low information voters. So little things that happen in the news move them a little bit back and forth. That's going to keep happening. This is a tight race. It is within the margin of error just about everywhere. And I can say that when I say that Biden got a little bump, it was a 2-point bump. That's all he got. And by the way, in a couple of months, if you listen to my podcast this week, it's going to be down to 0. He's gone through a lot worse things. It's going to be a close race. But ultimately, I believe what's going to happen in this race is the people are going to choose competence over corruption. So and you can get the last word because we have to go to a break.
So do you want to just toss to the commercial break? Because I feel bad for you.
You can do 30 seconds. I've seen you do it before.
No. I feel bad for you.
I appreciate it.
Because I don't want to counter that argument, that silly argument that you just made.
About who the moving voters are?
Right.
Okay, in that case, let's do it when you come back, because that was a serious point.
No. You the bottom line, you might as well swear Trump in today and get this over and done with.
Fair enough.
Anthony, wait, I got another question. So who are the Democrats going to put up? Because it ain't going to be Biden.
Yeah,
who is it going to be?
You've been saying that for a while. Maybe it's Kristi Noem. Is that who you guys are going to pick for vice president? Anthony Weiner on the left, Dominic Carter on the right. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Left versus Right. Anthony Weiner on our left, Dominic Carter on your right. If you miss any part of this, you can get it as a podcast anywhere that you get podcasts. And if you want to see a sharp-dressed man and a not very well-dressed man, you can watch us on YouTube. Just search YouTube for WABC Radio. You can get this there and watch us go at it.
Yeah, that's the setup.
Watch it, Left versus Right. All I'm saying is that you, on a Saturday afternoon, French cuffs, monogram, blue suit, just looking sharp. You clearly are. You clearly are made for TV. I clearly am made for on the Kings Highway subway station giving out flyers. That's clear.
No. You're always running around town with your helmet, riding a bike somewhere, embarrassing the rest of us, punching me in my eye.
No violence. No, I'm a Democrat, and we don't believe in violence. So let's go.
Right. You just believe in letting these animal criminals out on the street. That's what you.
We don't believe that either.
You shouldn't mention crime. You really shouldn't mention crime. Did you hear that a Good Samaritan down at the South Street Seaport tried to help a woman? The deranged guy ends up stabbing the Good Samaritan. You Democrats.
Wait, a deranged guy, so someone who doesn't know right from wrong. So crime, that's not a crime issue. That's a mental health issue.
Yeah. They never know right from wrong. Right.
And the mental health.
And the mental health issue. Right. You guys say.
Do you want to invade?
You guys say leave them on the street.
No, Republicans say
let them sit there.
That's not right.
Everybody's got to deal with the smell. They may stab you, but good luck with that.
Republicans slash the budgets for mental health all the time. Don't you see that as a contradiction?
So I knew you were setting
Let's
me
do
up for
more money.
something.
Let's do more money for mental health. I think that's something all Americans should agree with.
No, let's do this.
Speaking about mental health, let's talk about Hunter Biden. I just did an hour on it. Let's talk about Hunter Biden.
That's right.
I'm sure that you want to
heard word for word what you said on Hunter Biden.
So here's my basic takeaway on Hunter Biden. All that stuff about the laptop, all the stuff about foreign interference, all that stuff about Russia, China, Ukraine, Bubblinsky, and everything else, and it comes down to Hunter Biden didn't check a box on a gun application. Wow. Talk about an anticlimax. It looks like he's going to get convicted, but so far all the evidence is they've been playing tapes of his voice on talking about how he was an addict. Yeah, the guy was an addict. He was a mess. That's where all this came. A Miranda Devine laptop from hell, all those Comer hearings, and it comes down to a box on an application. I don't know, man. Couldn't you guys do better than that? And by the way, what happened to the Joe Biden weaponizing of the Justice Department? It's his own son the Justice Department is using here. What happened to Joe Biden using the Justice Department for his political purposes? What say you, Dominic Carter?
Notice I didn't respond.
I know.
You know why?
I don't actually.
Because the Democratic argument on Hunter Biden is a joke.
No, my argument, what I just made.
Okay, well, Mr. Weiner, Anthony Weiner, your argument on Hunter Biden is a joke. You left out the part. I mean, let's see, where do I begin? You left out the part where President Biden says he won't pardon his son. We'll see.
Correct.
You left out the part.
You agree with that, right?
You left out
because
the part.
Justice.
Okay, so see, I just gave you a full 2 minutes
Do you agree,
to engage in propaganda, and now I can't even respond.
Well,
so you forgot the part, Anthony Weiner, where Hunter Biden was sleeping with his brother's wife.
Why are you obsessed with who people are sleeping with? That's my job, to be obsessed with Donald Trump and who he's sleeping with.
So
every answer is someone's boo is someone being someone else's boo.
So not only does he sleep with his brother's wife, he turns her out in terms of drugs. She says it's the most embarrassing episode
it's terrible,
of her life. She's the one that found the gun. You said that all this comes down to, out of all the smoke and mirrors, it comes down to him lying on a gun application.
Correct.
No, it comes down to...
He has the tax beef also.
It comes down to the fact that the Justice Department was about to give Mr. Hunter Biden a sweetheart deal, and so the federal judge said, stop.
A plea bargain.
Okay, can I finish, please? The federal judge says, stop. This is a joke. I'm not signing this. There's no jail time in this.
Wait a minute. Nobody goes to jail for this, my man.
A lot of people are in jail now.
Only
this minute.
Only if it's one of a bunch of other things they were charged with, like a white supremacist gets charged with. No one has a freestanding one of these, man. It just doesn't happen.
Okay, and let me go back to your original point. You said out of all the things, it comes down to this.
Yeah.
It comes down to this for that right now. Let's see what the future holds. We don't know what's going to happen in the future as it relates to the other issues with the Biden family.
We kind of do.
We
now know it comes to not paying taxes for a few years, which he's now paid back. And this thing, he's not being charged for violation of the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act. None of that stuff. Illegal lobbying, none of it. All of that laptops. I mean, by the way, did you hear the testimony?
Who's in control of the Justice Department?
Who's prosecuting the presidents?
Which party's in control in the White House right now?
Special prosecutor, a Republican.
What party's
He's a Republican, Weiss.
What party's in control of the White House right now?
What part? Weiss is a Republican.
What party is in control of the White House?
For that now in the foreseeable future, the Democrats.
End of story. That's why you're not seeing the rest of this.
Tell me the story. Assume I don't know what the heck you're talking about.
Well, first of all, you're trying to lead me down an Anthony Weiner
If they weren't going to prosecute him, they wouldn't go to trial. He's getting prosecuted. He's going to be found guilty probably.
No, it's a matter of what can people prove. It's not a matter of...
Yes. Surprise, surprise. If you can't prove someone did a crime, they're not... Now, you know who was convicted of a crime, 34 counts? Donald Trump. That you were able to prove. He was able to prove 34 times he violated the law. That's why he's convicted felon Donald Trump. But we're talking about Hunter Biden now. All of that stuff. He's not charged anything to do with China.
By the way,
you're taking a guy who was a drug addict and saying, oh my God, he's a drug addict.
By the way, It seems like President Biden is listening to your advice. He comes to Greenwich.
He totally
should. He comes to Greenwich, Connecticut at a fundraiser and refers to Trump as a convicted felon.
He's listening to our show.
Right.
He is not as dumb as you think. Joe Biden is super smart. He listens to Anthony Weiner every week.
Right. We'll see how well that works out for him.
So far, so good.
We'll see.
Anyway, so Hunter Biden on trial. You have anything to add to that? I mean, the guy, he was a drug addict. Yes, you're doing his book reading his book to a jury and saying the guy's a horrible human being when he was on drugs. Yes, all of us were not great when we were in our active addiction.
So should he be convicted?
Look, I don't think I think that the plea bargain that they offered, which was fine, pay back all the money, suspended sentence, stay out of trouble.
WABC.
I'm about to
notice he's not answering.
I'm doing what am I doing? This and I'm saying words. It's an answer, my dude.
Right.
So the plea bargain that they offered, the pay back your taxes, suspended sentence. I think that would have been a perfectly fine resolution to this case.
Okay.
Now
that's not what I asked.
I understand. So now everything that I've seen in this case, they have not given a really good reason why that box was checked.
He still hasn't answered the question a minute in. Go ahead.
Everything that I have heard in this case, that it's a fairly blanket thing. You either check the box or now he's saying I wasn't an addict.
Mr. Weiner still hasn't answered the question. It's a real simple question.
Dominic, when the day comes on this show that you answer a yes or no question with yes or no, I'll start doing it. However, Dominic, you are constitutionally apparently prohibited from doing that, so I get a chance to do my answer.
Okay, but can I get an answer at some point?
I'm doing it. You know what? The interruptions have been longer than my answer at this point.
No, that's not true. But go ahead.
So what I say, I think that their defense of I was not high at that particular moment, that's why I didn't check it. I think he's going to be found guilty.
Guilty, and we'll see what happens in the future.
By the way, on appeal, there's a very good chance the new Supreme Court rulings on Second Amendment cases, the whole form is going to be thrown out. Because the Supreme Court has said on Second Amendment cases, anything that wasn't conceived of back at the time when these in the 1800s, well, addiction, alcoholism, restrictions, mental health issues on restrictions on owning guns are all probably going to get thrown out. And the irony is going to be Hunter Biden's gun case is probably going to get thrown out because of this stupid court on the Second Amendment cases. But let's face it.
Do you buy the president?
He's only being prosecuted because he's the president's son. Do you admit it?
No. Do you?
Who else gets prosecuted for this? Literally nobody.
Lots of people that are in jail as we
I've
speak.
said this to you before. I'm going to answer it again to clarify. Let me clarify this for our listeners. I said it in the last hour. Dozens and dozens of people have all kinds of things thrown at them in terms of when you hear someone say 211 indictments against this person, they all throw this one in. No one gets convicted of this as a freestanding thing. Not a single person. They only did it because the deal that they worked out that the prosecutors were reasonable to offer was thrown out, so they have to now go and try this case. So it's not going to get a jail sentence. This will be a suspended sentence anyway.
Do you buy the president at his word that he will not pardon his son?
I do.
We'll see what happens.
I don't think he's going to pardon. I think the president believes in the integrity of this system. I don't know if he should, but remember, his Justice Department appointed a Republican to prosecute his son. This guy Weiss is a Republican.
So public pressure had nothing to do with it.
It does, of course. That's why he put special prosecutors in charge because of the public perception. The guy Hurd, who everyone talked about, who is the special prosecutor on the documents case, prosecuting Joe Biden himself, a Republican. Yes, there's no perfect way to do this. But you guys are obsessed with what people's party is. I'm telling you what the party was. There's no way on earth, and it's a similar case with me, I'll be honest with you. It's no way on earth that Hunter Biden would have been prosecuted had not been all this attention to this case. I mean, yeah, the guy, but the funny thing is, and I don't know why you haven't addressed this, the laptop has had nothing to do with this case. The picture of him...
The reason why I didn't address it because your entire argument is ridiculous.
Go ahead.
Here it is. You have a first son traveling on Air Force One. You have all these business deals where the money's funneled through Hunter Biden and on and on and on.
What do you mean funneled through?
And we'll see in other family members.
The guy made money on trading on the Biden name. Welcome to America. Trump's kids trade on the family name all the time. Bush's family trades on the family names. But that doesn't doesn't make it a crime, and it doesn't mean anything to do with Joe Biden.
We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens in the future.
Well, we already have. You've been investigating this thing. You know how long that laptop from hell has been out there in the world?
And we don't know if this is over.
6 years.
We don't know if this is over. We don't know.
Keep wishing. If they had more, believe me, you would see it being prosecuted.
We'll see.
He has a trial coming up on the tax thing. He's paid back the taxes. I mean,
whoop-de-doo.
That's how these cases get resolved. People pay it back with penalties. God forbid you ever have a tax problem. I have a tax problem. That's the way. They don't have trials every time someone doesn't pay their taxes.
And I guess Hunter Biden came up with the money to pay his back taxes because he's a world-renowned artist. I guess that's how he.
Well, he got paid from the artist. I
guess that's how he paid.
Do you think someone bought his art because his name is Biden? Yes. Yes. Listen, Dominic Carter, I got news for you. In your next life, come back as a president's kid. No doubt about it. It's good to be Ivanka Trump.
That's insulting. If I come back, I'm coming back as the president.
There you go. That's a good
not
point.
the son.
Good
What
point.
else you got,
good
man?
Point. All right, well, let's do one final thing. We argued about it a little bit. Let's pause on this moment. This is the last time many of the men that were honored for the heroism 80 years ago at D-Day that we're going to have a chance, this is going to be there. They'll be around for 81, God willing, but they're not going to be around for 90.
Agreed.
And I just have to say that at the moment, what's going on in Russia and Ukraine, the symbolism of that thing, and make what you will of it, the fact that there's still some of those surviving people, it kind of makes you realize the people that fought in these wars, if you ever get the opportunity to spend a minute having a word with them, it's an asset. I mean, it took my breath away to see these guys that are still around. They literally saved our way of life.
Yes.
I mean, the idea we learned and
once you're telling the truth.
And the
for
history,
once I can agree with you.
And the history.
I don't think this is ever going to happen again.
I disagree with you.
I
disagree. And if those guys, I don't know if they were Democrats. I don't know if they were Republicans. All I know is if they didn't take those cliffs, take those beaches, I don't, now admittedly, Hitler was under a lot of pressure from the Russians on the other side. Maybe something would have changed. But that moment, the biggest, ground invasion in world history at the time was the beginning of us getting back our liberty. And I'll give you, the final word. It is just amazing.
I agree with everything you just said.
And we have a lot of listeners who are
seriously,
like
and we all know that as a reflection of all of what you just set up, that freedom is not free. And the fact that some of them are still with us is remarkable, and they are walking history lessons to be cherished.
Amen. And I tell you one other thing. It's a cliche a little bit, but it really is true in our case. What we do for a living, say stuff for a living, argue with each other for a living, goes out on the airwaves, that is fundamental to the American way of life. We may kid each other, but our listeners who participate, this is a patriotic act. We've been arguing with each other time immemorial, but when push comes to shove and we have to defend our country, thank God those men were there at that moment.
So to our listeners, I just hope you reflect the fact that I heard you. I did not call him Mr. Weiner. I don't know why you're offended at the fact that I call him Mr. Weiner, but so be it. And going full circle, great what happened in Normandy just the other day, right, as it relates to Normandy, but it was bad for America in terms of how President Biden
Don't end on a sour note, Dominic.
It's elder abuse of what's going on with President
above,
Biden.
Dominic. We're not going to end on a sour note.
I am rising above because I didn't focus on it, but it's elder abuse of what's happening.
You see, this is what you're about to see.
You don't have a comeback for that one, Mr. Weiner.
I'm rising above.
Oh, you're rising above.
I'm bound and committed to end on a positive, unifying note. Anthony Weiner on the left, Dominic Carter on the right. If you missed any of it, get it as a podcast. Stay tuned for Vinny Badugno.